Thank you for joining us today for yet another episode of Successful Men Talk here on your Golden Channel, Channel 265. Today I'm joined by Khuliso Excellent Muvhango, a man who's a jack of all trades, focus of the companies within the ITC space. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. Before we go further, I would love you to tell us what made you choose the IT space from everything else.
I chose the IT space because I felt that this is the direction that the world is taking, and everything is changing into the IT space, but we decided to find ourselves in the education space. Hence, we tapped into that so that we can transform the education system using technology.
Before we even talk about anything, what do we mean when we say we're talking of ICT?
ICT simply means information communication technology. You know, it's a very broad word where, you know, we're talking of technology itself, because everything now is changing with this fourth industrial revolution that we had. You know, we're talking of machine learning, we're talking artificial intelligence, we're talking software development. We were just in the third revolution recently where we were talking about digitalization. We introduced mobile application. Now we bank on our phones, we order food on our phones. You know, so yeah, technology, it's broad in that sense. So if I should break it down.
For me as a layman, right, I'd love you to explain, to say, how do you then merge the technology that you're speaking about with education?
Okay. I was once asked the very same question. How do you merge
the two years?
Yes, education with technology. I'd say that if you look at a Toyota Corolla in 2002 and a Toyota Corolla in 2020, a complete different thing. There are massive improvements, but not in our education system.
Okay.
So everything was changing, but not in our education system. The same way a teacher was teaching in 1970, the same way a teacher is teaching in 2018, which is completely wrong because we have a digital generation. We had to come up with a solution that transforms the education space. We digitalize the whole education. What is going to be taught in school, we put it together in a small device so that kids can have access to all those learning content at their own space, at their own pace, and most importantly, without paying for internet bundles.
Now, speaking of the change, the need for change within the educational space, right? Most of the times you find maybe parents are still lagging behind in terms of not having the kind of knowledge that you have. What would you say is the main drive? Why is there a need for the educational system to change altogether to keep in touch with what is happening in the world?
The need for the education to change is simply because the kids of today are a digital generation. They're very smart. You give them a phone that is locked, they're already taking pictures, they already know how to maneuver. You know, you give them a television, this smart television, they already know how to maneuver. So it's always good that we become relevant by giving them stuff that are relevant. You know, imagine if we can say whatever that is going to be taught January to December, you have it inside your device, and then you can be able to watch it at your own space, at your own pace. So that also eliminates the issue of failing in school, because kids now, they can be able to push at their own space. They can be able to go and refer. If they didn't understand something in class, they can actually go back and watch until they understand.
But does that now not take out the need for classroom learning? Because now you're telling me that kids are able to access everything on their devices. Does that now not take away the job of a teacher?
A teacher can never be replaced because when these kids get stuck, they need to communicate with the educator. Okay. This only simplifies a job of an educator. As an educator now, I focus more on assessing my learners.
Okay.
If I want to start a new chapter, I just simply tell them, please go and do bank reconciliation statement if it's accounting. Okay. And then when I get in class, I ask them, what is it that you got or understood from the concept? And in most cases, the feedback that I'm receiving from my educators is that most learners actually understands before a teacher even raises a word.
Okay.
So then if my learners are understanding, they're doing self-study and they're getting the topic before I even say a word, my task now is just to touch on the pockets, you know, and try and trick them in different ways that I can, so that I can try and get them to test if they are really, you know, ready for exams. So a job of a teacher now, it's more of assessing and supervising. They now have more time to themselves, which is a plus for them. I don't think it should be a threat.
Okay, so I take it basically your organization offers a platform for educators to tap into before they actually go to the kids. Am I right?
Yes, basically what we did was we pre-recorded all the lessons. We worked with the educators. We developed the learning content.
Okay.
We put it together in a small device we call a digital library. That's our innovation. So that device, once you plug it in school, it gives us free Wi-Fi.
All right.
And then kids use our mobile application to access content, and they don't get to pay for internet bundles.
Okay.
So should they want to download a certain topic, they just go connect, download the topic, and they watch it until they understand. They only download once.
All right. Now, for educators, I've heard people saying that the challenge that we face at the moment is that in as much as our kids do have the gadgets, they have not yet been taught to use those gadgets for productivity. They tend up to use it for the negative stuff. Are you facing such challenges as well?
In some schools, particularly in remote areas or peri-urban areas, we do encounter such problems. However, the devices that we deliver to schools, we can be able to manage them. If the school leader says we don't need camera, we can remove camera. If they say we need to block all social media access, we're also blocking that. However, on the other side, you know, it's also not a good thing, because we're depriving these learners. You know, they need to also learn to grow to be responsible human beings. Because once you try and stop them from doing something, whenever they get an opportunity to do it, they just go and do it. We encourage education on how to use the gadget, the importance of those gadgets, and then just try and block for access for them.
Before, I'd like you to take us also on your journey within the drilling space. What is it that you guys do?
I'm a social entrepreneur. As a social entrepreneur, you check the challenges that you're faced with in your communities, bring a solution, then commercialize. I realize one of the biggest issues we face within our communities is access to clean running water. So we do have existing companies that are having these big drilling machines. However, they were not really accessible by everyone. So we decided to come up with a simple model in 2018 of incorporating almost every citizen. Our approach to the market, we wanted to create an application for them like Uber, you know, type of a setup where we, you know, circulate these drilling companies. We own the clients, and then we use their resources. And then we introduce 5 payment methods where if you are rich, you can pay me cash. If you are a working class, we've got a credit facility available where we can drill water for you on credit. And then if you are living well with your neighbors, we can do a communal bowls. Maybe it's 4 houses, we can drill in the middle. 4 of you guys have your own different tanks, and then you share the bill. And then we also have a stokvel account for pensioners. Instead of them putting money together to buy mayonnaise by the end of the year, then they put money together to get a borrow so that they can get access to clean water. And for unemployed young people, we would call them into our system. They come, we train them digital marketing and direct marketing. Then you only refer 20 clients to a system, then we drill a borehole for you for free, fully functional borehole. So that has really helped us to grow in this industry, that we ended up becoming the leading drilling company within the province right now. You know, you hardly find a borehole being drilled here without us being involved. You know, so we kind of like own the clients because of that system, where we are incorporating even ordinary people who thought having a borehole is quite expensive.
Most of the times we find people are not able to access services because of lack of knowledge, I'll say. and also a lack of information in terms of where they should go for any services. I'd like to find out from you, when you introduced your organization, to say we are able to drill for you, because it was something really new to them. Were they immediately welcoming to the idea, or it took you guys quite some time before the market became responsive?
People fell in love with the idea because, you know, we gave hope to the hopeless. People thought, really, we cannot even afford a borehole. And looking at our, you know, options available, we could listen to them. Unlike other companies, they just want to find out, do you have cash? If you don't have, please go save up money, we'll come to you. With us, they could come to our office, have a consultant, sit down with them, and try and go through a possible option to get them get access to running water. So that really helped a lot in terms of, you know, helping us grow and having more referrals, word of mouth, and people talking about us. Because of our unique, innovative solution of introducing these payment options, we managed to grow drastically, and now we've created enough jobs in that space.
How important is it for young entrepreneurs or for small businesses to be at a position where they really are able to connect with clients in a way that they are able to even negotiate terms that are suitable for them? Because most of the times we find people have services and products, but those products are not really able to speak to the people they are supplying, because there is that gap between the ones who can afford and the ones who cannot.
There's a sale, it's a relationship. You know, if you want to really sell to people, you need to build the rapport. You need to get to find out what is it that people want. You know, and people must learn to be flexible enough to create products that people want. You can take out a product out there to the masses, and you think it's what's right for them. You also need to give or lend them an ear just to try and find out what is it that they want. You know, if you don't shrink your product to shape it to what the client wants, you'll be irrelevant. You know, so if you want to stay relevant, you need to always transform your product into what clients want. Yes, I think that's what I can say around that.
To join us for this conversation and more, you can join us on Instagram on the handle S_man_mag. He's still continuing with Khuliso. He's still taking us on his journey as a business person. You have a third company, and looking at your age, you're still very young. What does the third company do, and when do you get time for yourself? Because people your age really are not as busy as you are in the business space.
The third company, like I said, I'm a social entrepreneur. I sell educational tablets.
Okay.
You know, kids are breaking them every now and then. So we had to come up with an innovative way to mix up things, you know, and create this thing called a Cindy Power liquid coating technology.
Okay.
So that's like a prefix and a suffix of my grandparents' names. My Cindy Mapao. It's called Cindy Power liquid coating technology. So it's a liquid that we smear in your phone screen, and then once you smear in your phone screen, we put inside the coating machine. It makes your screen phone to be 600 times harder. Even if you hit it by a hammer, it's not going to break. Even if you throw it down, it's hardly going to break because the screen is now 600 times harder. So it's a new age screen protector. The reason why we came up with that solution, we developed the solution for our kids who are having our tablets. But the demand grew so bad because people are having smartphones every now and then, they're breaking them. So we started, you know, hiring people in every town to try and get people to sell the Cindy Power liquid coating technology. So that's just the Cindy Power liquid coating. And answering the question, do I have time for myself? Yes, I do. You know, I'm the one person who believes so much in having fun and having time with my family. I've created systems in place. I only monitor. You know, smart leaders delegate. So if you don't delegate, you're not going to be successful in life. Yes.
You do different things, right? And I'm sure a lot of research needs to go into that, because spaces that are not connected in any form of way. What kind of research do you do as an entrepreneur to be able to keep up with times and also to be able to service your clients the best way you can?
Research. I research almost every day. I think I even my wife has a problem with that because I remember last night I slept at 1 in the a.m. Right in the morning. She thought I'm busy chatting with people, and I was busy doing my research. By then I'd already, communicated with the relevant people. I got new contacts. I already find it. So before I sleep, I make sure that I'm researching on what are the new trends, what are the problems that you faced within our communities. How can I bring solutions? Who can I bring close to develop this for me? While I think, and then they do. I'm not even an IT person, but I'm running an IT company because
okay.
I think of an idea, I hire the relevant people to come and do the work for me.
Having grown here in Limpopo, right, most of the times when people grow, they move out of where the area that they grew up in. Do you feel that there are a lot of opportunities that people are actually leaving this side of the world because they are running to the city of gold?
I normally tell people that in Gauteng, where they're running to the too many for a piece of cake, and here, they're leaving so much space, which is void, and there's so much here that can still be developed. We can take developments that are already in Gauteng and bring them here. You can take things that are happening in China and still bring them here. So it's a challenge to young people who are getting educated and then they're not making use of that to work for our province, to come back home and really try and make it big. We're having developments left, right, and center. So there is enough for everyone here. There is enough for everyone.
You touched on the fact that you now have a national footprint, right across the country. I would like to find out from you, how have the other provinces received you as an organization?
It was quite easy. I even got a nickname called Minister of Online Education.
Okay.
Because wherever I go, I preach online education. And with the introduction of the COVID-19, it's no longer a luxury, but it's something that is very much necessary. It's a need. So people now are embracing us in a very different way. It's much more easier for us to do business now than any other time. So if my sales team decide to go to Mpumalanga, they will get an appointment there and then they'll start to present their stuff. When we approach a donor to say, please donate this to the school, donate this library to the school because they've got computers or they've got tablets, and it's working out fine. It's really working out fine.
I know with the ICT and COVID, you guys really gained a few miles, but then how have the other companies been affected by the pandemic?
My businesses were not really affected by the pandemic. Just that I was also equally frustrated when the president announced we are going on a 21 days national lockdown. I thought we are done. It's done. We're just going to close down. I don't know what's going to happen next. And I had to think positive out of a negative situation to say, guys, this is my time. Okay. Kids are not going to school, and I've got a solution that can keep them learning while they're at home. And then why can't I start making noise about it on social media and get everybody to know about it? And then that's how we started transforming. And then the government is encouraging people to wash their hands and all that. What do they need? They need water. So we're giving them water. So we're giving essential services. So obviously with the introduction of the Sindipal, it's a new baby on. We introduced it last year in December.
All right.
So it was, already level 3, if I'm not mistaken then. So we're allowed to move around the streets and sell our products because, we sell them in door-to-door, business-to-business, just like that.
All right. You're watching Successful Men Talk here on your Golden Channel, Channel 265.
Speaking to Khuliso, he's still telling us on his business journey. I would love to find out from you, judging from your age, I'll need you to tell us, when did you start the ICT company?
The ICT, which is the mother company, it was started in the year 2016, just after I fired my boss. And yeah, we started it. I was in my small apartment in Nelspruit. I had the idea. I decided to leave my job, and this idea was just too bigger than me, and I felt, let me give it a best shot, because I've always wanted to be a business person.
Okay.
I've always wanted to be
And
a business person.
what made you feel comfortable that it's now time to introduce another baby, the second company?
Once you are in business, trying to gel, because the transition of moving from leaving your job to business is not the nicest one. You know, you feel like you divorced, or you know, there's some part of you that leaves you. If you know that there's some faithful company on the 25th, salary is coming, and it's no longer gonna come anymore. You always feel like there's a huge breakup, you know, with, you know, it's not an easy part. You really have to get used to the part. So now that I owned my time and I had all the time to myself, I could think of any other thing. I decided, let me use my time in a profitable manner. Let me try and come up with solutions that will create multiple streams of earning. You know, because when I started this ICT business, it was, our slogan as a business, it's called making education fashionable. So we wanted to make education fashionable again through the use of mobile technology. And it was not so fashionable by then, because it was a luxury. We would go to a school and the principal will take you to an HOD, and then HOD will take you to a receptionist. It was always, you know, that hectic. But right now when you get to a school, it becomes much more easier. Yeah, so we moved along those lines.
I'm speaking to Khuliso Excellent Muvhango. We're going to a short break. Don't go away. We'll be right back.